Recording in progress.
Good evening. Today we begin with our class, and before we proceed, I would like us to introduce ourselves. This is our first class. We can have everyone just introducing themselves briefly. Let's start with Terence.
Okay, good evening, sir. I'm Terer Nicholas. Daniel.
Thank you. I believe we have introduced ourselves. Maybe I can single on Terence to just tell us what is your expectation for the class. What comes to mind when you hear about ICT infrastructure and component classification?
I'm Jairus Kirui, and my expectation is that we are going to handle the infrastructure related to the information communication technology and look at some of the components of this infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you, Jairus. Thank you for sharing. So we are looking at ICT infrastructural component classification, and in simple terms, you can say this is a way of classifying ICT infrastructural components. So, what do we expect to have learned by the end of this class? That we will get to know all about ICT infrastructural components. We also get to classify ICT infrastructural components by type, function, location, and criticality. We also get to identify the benefits of classifying ICT infrastructural components. And finally, we get to the application of these principles that are concerned with the ICT infrastructural components. So by definition, an ICT infrastructural component is any physical or intangible component that is essential for the operation and management of an ICT infrastructure. When it comes to the types, we can classify them according to type, and we have hardware, software, and network. Hardware speaks of the physical components of an ICT infrastructure. So these may include devices such as servers, storage, networking equipment, and end user devices. When it comes to software, it speaks of the functionality. I think someone can help us on that. Dan, you can. What do you understand by the term software?
What I understand by software is that is a set of instructions which allow a specific task to be done in a computer or any other device.
Yeah, thank you. So simply refers to the programs, and example of such programs we have operating systems, database, applications, and the middleware. And we also look at another type of classification by network. So we have the network components that are used to connect devices to each other and to the internet. Example of such components include the routers, switches, firewalls, and cabling. Next, we look at the still under the classification by type. As far as the hardware components are concerned, we can see the purpose of this hardware is to serve the physical foundation for running applications. For example, storing data and facilitating device connectivity, including internet access. When it comes to software, the purpose of software is to provide functionality that users need to perform tasks such as word processing, web browsing, and email. And software also manages the hardware and provides platform for running applications. Finally, when it comes to network, it is important to help us connect devices with each other. Another classification is classification by function. And when it comes to by function, there are several terms you can look at. Number one is to compute, under function, compute. And here we see that servers, workstations, and other devices that provide processing power for running applications and services. So still under function, we can see storage. We can classify them by the storage, and examples is hardwares,
function, other devices. Also under function, we can see classification by networking and also security. Then we get to the classification by location. This is straightforward. And on location, we see it is classified under two major types. Number one is on premises, and number two is on cloud-based. On premises, we look at the location in terms of within the organization, and example like data centers and other facilities. And when it comes to cloud-based, we see platforms as a major classification in terms of hosting, and this is mainly provided by third party. And then we look at classification by criticality. And under criticality, we see mission critical, business critical, and non-critical. Under mission critical, it's essential for the organization's core business operations. And business critical, it's important for the organization's business, but not necessarily essential. And when it comes to non-critical, we see that it is not essential for the organization's business operation. Other classification schemes, we see vendor, we see also model, age, and costs. Costs implies the cost of the component. Age is the age of the component. This is straightforward. When it comes to model, look at the model number of the component. And when it comes to the vendor, we see the vendor or the manufacturer of the component. Then we look at the benefits of classifying ICT infrastructural components. Maybe Bruce can help us read this aloud. The benefits of classifying ICT infrastructural components.
So one of the benefits it creates an improved understanding of the ICT environment.
Thank you, Bruce. in an hospital setup, can you hear me now? We might see an ICT infrastructure, which includes the following: servers, and so there's also storage. And when it comes to servers host the hospital electronic health record system, patient database, and other applications. We also find storage devices that store hospital data, such as patient records, medical images, and administrative documents. We also see networking equipment that connects the hospital servers, storage devices, and end user devices, such as computers, medical devices, and nurse call systems. And finally, we see end users devices, which include computers that doctors and nurses use to access the hospital systems, as well as the medical devices that collect patient data, and also the ICT infrastructure of the hospital to its critical operations. So by understanding the different types of ICT infrastructure and components and how they work together, students can better understand how ICT components they are delivered in terms of these healthcare services. So finally, I'll leave an assignment for us. And here is the assignment. Terry, you can read it for the class.
Okay. Assignment. Use a classification scheme for ICT infrastructural components. I'm lost. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So the assignment is use a classification scheme for ICT infrastructural components and identify 5 examples, including descriptions, importance, and benefits.
Yeah, thank you for your time. We have come to the end of our class. We'll expect the assignment in 2 weeks' time. You submit through your class rep. Thank you.
Thank you, Mwalimu.
Thank you.
Sasa record for time in 5 minutes.